Hey guys, welcome to today's video, and today we're going to take a look at different modes of fasting. In hopes to lay out different modes of fasting, we have to choose which one is best for us. And there are multiple ways of fasting methods that you could learn about and choose and understand. Some of these methods are good for some people and other methods are good for another set of people. And so let's just get into the video. Number one method of fasting is water fasting. Now this is an extreme level of fasting, but trust me, water fasting is a real thing. Water fasting is a period of fasting where no calories are ingested. And as the name implies, water fasting, the individual will just drink water over that fasting period. And the length of this period could be anywhere from 3 days to, I have seen, 3 weeks, okay? It depends on what length you want. Now, I'm not crazy. And the reason why I'm speaking about water fasting so highly is that people who are chronically obese, I think, can really benefit from water fasting. I have last year watched a podcast on YouTube. It was one of the Rituals podcasts. You can look it up. Just look up water fasting ritual podcast. And I think the podcast, the guest of the podcast was one of the doctors that is speaking about water fasting and how a 40-day water fast could really benefit in terms of overall health and weight loss. And so water fasting really works out if you're really obese. And the reason why it works out is because you enter in this state of ketosis, where your body relies on your fat, stored fat. The reason why you store fat is because you can use it later. And so new research, upcoming research is coming out about water fasting and why it is healthy is because we're taking stored fat and converting into energy. And that's why there's a weight loss in the individuals who try water fasting. Second example of water fasting is alternative day water fasting. And this type of water fasting is exactly as it sounds, fasting for 1 day, and then the next day you eat. And then, so the third day you fast again, and then the fourth day you eat. So there is this alternative day of fasting and alternative day of eating. You can also be in a fasted state when you eat fats and proteins. So you don't have to deprive yourself of calories when you do alternative day fasting. The days where you're fasting, so day one, you could have a bunch of protein shakes that day, okay? There are two types of alternative fasting. You can just not eat for the fasting day, but you can also have calories, but those calories shouldn't be carbs, because as soon as you eat carbs, you're not fasting. I have talked about insulin, and when you eat carbs, insulin goes up and you also start storing fat. And so the reason why during alternative fasting we avoid carbs during fasted days is because we want to be in a fasted state. Number 3 is intermittent fasting. Many people have heard of this. Absolutely common. You can have several types of fasting windows. You could have an 8-hour fasting window. You could have a 6-hour fasting window, 4-hour, 2-hour fasting window. So it depends on what you want to do. My personal example, I usually every day try to include an 8-hour fasting window in my lifestyle. So every single day I do 8-hour intermittent fasting. Some days I will try to do 2-hour fasting window whenever I have a high calorie, high caloric meal coming up. In the evening, I would usually do a 2-hour fasting window. And this is really rare in my time because for the past 4 or 5 months, I have been having high protein diet. And so I don't find a need to do this restrictive type of eating. But yeah, usually there's like once every month I have to restrict my window to 2 hours, and that gives me the benefit of fasting. Intermittent fasting is great. You don't eat when you wake up, and then you don't eat before bedtime. And this is perfect for, I think, 80% to 90% of the people out there, because it will improve your life and make you productive if you do intermittent fasting. Number 4, fasting between meals. Basically, you have a fasting period of about 8 to 12 hours between meals. For example, if you have breakfast at 9 a.m., you don't eat until 9 p.m. So that's a huge 12-hour window. This is very beneficial when you have 2 heavy meals coming up that are in the morning and the evening. And so you space it out with an 8-hour or 10-hour or 12-hour gap, and so that you can be productive. These are 4 fasting modes that everyone should understand and look into, so that they could know that when they need to apply this. What I want to do is I want to implement the alternative day fasting. Maybe I'll do an alternative day fasting period and then record myself for YouTube, and then we'll see my results. I have never done it, and I'm excited to do it, and maybe I'll do it in the future. And how I'm going to go about it is I'm going to still have my protein shakes during the fasted times, but I'm going to have a 12-hour window the next day where I'm going to eat. So that's alternative fasting, 24-hour to 36-hour fasting, and then 12-hour eating window. And so that's how I'm going to schedule that. And so thank you for watching this video. I hope this was really informative. In the future, I am going to make separate videos on each of these fasting modes and trying to explain the biological mechanisms behind those, so that everyone could understand it, because we have to be responsible on how we understand these modes of diet and fasting, so that ultimately we can be better at our health. And remember that most people can solve their own problems, and so can you.